In the city of Hyderabad, a young man named Nani lived a simple life as a fireworks expert. Nani was a gifted and passionate creator of fireworks, known for his impressive skills in lighting up the night sky during festivals. His fireworks displays were a source of pride for the entire city, and people would often gather just to watch his spectacular shows. However, his life was dominated by an unspoken love for his neighbor, Bindu. Bindu was a micro-artist, a woman who spent her time creating intricate works of art so small that they could only be appreciated through a magnifying lens. Her artwork was so delicate and detailed that it mesmerized anyone who took the time to look closely. She also ran an NGO, focusing on helping underprivileged children by providing them access to education and art. Her heart was as beautiful as her art, and she was deeply committed to making a difference in the lives of the children she helped. Though Nani admired Bindu from afar, she was aware of his feelings but chose not to acknowledge them, staying focused on her NGO's mission and unwilling to let personal emotions distract her. She had little time for personal relationships, as her mission to help the children took precedence in her life. One day, Bindu found herself struggling to keep her NGO afloat due to financial problems. The NGO had been facing increasing difficulties in securing funds, and Bindu was doing everything she could to keep the organization going. She needed a large sum of money to continue her work, and desperate for help, she turned to a wealthy businessman, Sudeep. Sudeep was a powerful industrialist with vast resources, and he immediately took notice of Bindu. His wealth and influence were unmatched, and he saw an opportunity to use his power to manipulate the situation in his favor. Her charm, dedication, and beauty captivated him. He saw an opportunity not only to contribute to her cause but also to win her heart. Sudeep donated 15 lakh rupees, approximately $28,000, to Bindu's NGO to help her cause, but it was clear that his intentions went beyond philanthropy. His donation came with strings attached, as he began to pursue Bindu romantically, hoping to gain her affection. He began to flirt with Bindu, attempting to charm her and make her dependent on him. However, Bindu remained focused on her work and didn't notice Sudeep's advances. She was so immersed in her mission that she failed to recognize the danger Sudeep posed. She was driven by the need to raise awareness for her NGO and improve the lives of children, and her professional world left little room for romantic thoughts. Despite this, Sudeep's obsession with Bindu grew stronger by the day. He started to believe that, despite his wealth and influence, he would only be able to win her affection if he eliminated any competition. He couldn't stand the idea of anyone else capturing her attention. His jealousy boiled over when he noticed Bindu showing a subtle interest in Nani, something she had never shown toward him. Watching Nani walking beside her on the street, Sudeep realized with a sinking heart that his feelings were one-sided. To him, Nani had become a threat, and he was now determined to remove him from the picture. Sudeep began to plot Nana's downfall, convinced that only by removing him could he secure Bindu's love. Sudeep, consumed by his desire to possess Bindu, decided to take matters into his own hands. One evening, Sudeep lured Nani into a trap and kidnapped him. He murdered Nani in cold blood, strangling him and making it appear like an accident. The murder was brutal and calculated, ensuring that no one would suspect foul play. However, just before Nani died, he managed to utter a final curse. With his last breath, he vowed to return from the dead and exact revenge on Sudeep if the industrialist ever harmed Bindu. His anger and love for Bindu were so strong that even death couldn't erase his desire for justice. Unaware of Nana's tragic fate, Bindu called Nani on the phone, confessing her love for him, only to learn that Nani was dying. Her confession, filled with sorrow and regret, was the last thing Nani heard before his spirit left his body. Death, however, was not the end of Nana's story. His spirit reincarnated, but not in the way anyone would have expected. Nani returned to the world as a housefly, unable to remember his previous life or his unfinished business. In this new form, Nani struggled with the limitations of his tiny body and the confusion that came with his reincarnation. The small, seemingly insignificant fly struggled with flashes of memory, which began to surface when it came into contact with Sudeep and Bindu. Every encounter with Sudeep and Bindu brought fragments of Nana's past life back to him, slowly bringing clarity to his purpose. As the fly's encounters with both individuals deepened, the memories of Nana's past life slowly returned to him. He realized that he had been killed by Sudeep and that his death was part of a larger, sinister plot to eliminate his rival for Bindu's heart. The fly now fully understood its identity and its mission, to seek revenge on Sudeep and protect Bindu at all costs. One of the first steps in Nana's quest for revenge occurred when he caused a freak accident involving Sudeep. Sudeep was driving to the airport with Bindu to meet a government minister in New Delhi, where he planned to help Bindu gain national recognition for her NGO. On the way, the fly wrote, "I will kill you," on the windshield of Sudeep's car, causing Sudeep to panic and drive erratically. The message was written in such a way that it could not be ignored, and Sudeep was left terrified, thinking that someone or something was targeting him. This event left Sudeep paranoid and terrified, believing that someone or something was targeting him. The fly's actions were just the beginning of its torment for Sudeep. It was only a matter of time before Sudeep's mental state began to deteriorate under the pressure of his fear. As the fly continued to torment Sudeep, it eventually revealed itself to Bindu. One day, as Bindu was mourning Nana's death in her room, she noticed strange writing on her desk. The fly had used her tears to write the words, "I am Nani." At first, Bindu couldn't believe her eyes, but when she looked closely, she knew it was true. In that moment, Bindu realized that the fly was Nana's spirit, and she understood the truth of his murder. She also knew that Nani was back to seek justice, and together, they formed an alliance to bring Sudeep to justice. Bindu's grief transformed into a resolve to fight for the truth and honor Nana's sacrifice. Sudeep, meanwhile, was becoming increasingly obsessed with the fly. His mental state began to deteriorate as he was unable to stop thinking about it. His business empire started to crumble, and his black money was mysteriously destroyed in a fire, leaving him nearly penniless. Everywhere Sudeep turned, disaster seemed to strike. Desperate, Sudeep turned to a sorcerer named Tantra for help. Tantra confirmed that the fly was, in fact, Nani, and warned Sudeep that Nana's desire for revenge could not be stopped. Tantra advised Sudeep to kill Nani once and for all. Sudeep's desperation grew as he realized there was no escaping Nana's wrath. In an attempt to defeat Nani, Sudeep trapped the fly in his mansion, setting up a complex series of devices to kill it. However, Nani, with his quick wit and determination, managed to escape the trap, causing a short circuit and triggering a fire that locked Sudeep in a room. Tantra, who had been helping Sudeep, died in the chaos, and Sudeep was left unconscious, believing he had won. However, Nani and Bindu believed Sudeep was dead, but Sudeep was not finished yet. He was saved by his business partner, Aditya, who helped him recover, but Sudeep's anger grew when he discovered that Bindu was aiding the fly. Now, Sudeep's hatred for both Nani and Bindu intensified even further. In an attempt to protect himself further, Sudeep killed Aditya, knowing that he could collect a massive 700 crore rupees, approximately $130 million, insurance policy from his death. Sudeep's actions were becoming more desperate, and his greed and obsession with Bindu reached a boiling point. He took Bindu to his mansion, where he planned to interrogate her and force her to reveal the fly's whereabouts. Sudeep was no longer playing games, he was willing to go to any lengths to win. During the confrontation, Nani appeared in his fly form and fought Sudeep in a fierce battle. Sudeep managed to clip Nana's wing and fatally wound him with a needle. But Nani, knowing his time was limited, performed one final, heroic act. The love Nani had for Bindu gave him the strength to make a final sacrifice. In his last moments, Nani coated himself with gunpowder and jumped into a cannon, aiming to destroy Sudeep once and for all. The cannon was fired, and the steel ball it launched pierced Sudeep's chest, causing a massive explosion. The explosion tore through the mansion, killing Sudeep and ending his reign of terror. Nana's sacrifice brought an end to the chaos, and the house was destroyed, leaving nothing but ashes behind. With Sudeep's death, peace seemed to finally settle, but Nana's legacy lived on. Despite Nana's death, his spirit lived on in Bindu's heart. She kept one of Nana's wings as a keepsake, turning it into an amulet that reminded her of the love and sacrifice Nani had shown her. This amulet became a symbol of Nana's eternal presence in her life, even after his death. But Nana's story did not end there. Reborn as a honeybee, Nani returned once more. When Bindu was harassed by a Neve teaser while walking to work, the honeybee attacked the man, stinging him and reminding Bindu that Nani would always protect her, no matter what form he took. In this new form, Nani continued to watch over Bindu, proving that love and loyalty transcend death. Sometimes, love speaks loudest in silence and sacrifice. Though life gave him another chance in the most unexpected form, his love never wavered. Silently, he stood by her, protected her, and fought for her because his love was pure. In the end, it wasn't size or strength that triumphed, but the depth of a heart that refused to give up.